Welcome to another episode of Italia in Australia. This is Silvia here. Today I just want to speak in English because I feel a little bit international because I'm traveling back home. It's a special episode today because I will be hosting it alone because, as I just said, I'm traveling back to Italy. So I'm taking a month off and I've decided to stop in Dubai. So why do we need a special episode with this? Because a lot of people, when they go to Australia or when they come back, they actually think they want to stop in Dubai for a few days, given or they fly Emirates or they fly Etihad or any other Arab company. So and I just did something crazy today. That's the craziest shit ever that I've done in my life. I've done skydiving, guys. I'm afraid of heights. I'm so scared. I get all those butterflies in my belly every time that I get close to a balcony. But I have to tell you, that's the best thing that I've ever done. Nothing to compare to pictures and stuff like that. So before we are gonna start talking about all the things that I've done in these days, which some of them they're actually quite crazy and they can be also scary at times, I want to tell you guys that stopping in Dubai is actually super easy. I've seen a lot of people on all these groups on Facebook asking, do I need a visa? What do I have to do? Is it included in the flight? So no, the visa is not included in the flight, but it's automatic at the moment that you're gonna enter the country. So you'll have a stamp and you'll have 30 days as a tourist to visit around and do whatever you want. Obviously, you don't have to work. So what was the first impression about Dubai when I landed is actually freaking hot. And to be honest, guys, I love the heat. I love the sun. I love just to stay there and cook at that right hot temperature. But here, it's unbearable. So medium temperature is about 40 degrees. And local people are telling me that is actually okay. It's not too bad. No, it's not okay. Like you walk outside and it feels like you have this constant hot air that it comes to your face. You're sweating everything that you have inside, and not all the water that you're drinking would be enough to cover up all that dehydration. It's just crazy. Sun hits so hard. So things to do in Dubai, that's a good question. So it's actually really important where you're gonna take your accommodation and budget, obviously, and how many days you would be there. But I think this is just logistic. It's just how you would plan eventually every holiday that you do. So in my case, I had 3 full days and 1 half day on the day that I arrived here, and then 1 last half day tomorrow morning before my flight. So in these 3 days, 2 things I wanted to do. So one was obviously going to Abu Dhabi to see the Grand Mosque of the Sheikh, and then in the other day do like Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall and all that area, and then on the other day, which is today, Dubai Marina. Obviously, I've never stopped in Dubai and that's my first time, so I didn't really want to ask anyone what to do or where to go because it's always filtered by their own experience and their personal taste. So in my choices, I always make my own decision, and I can ask and maybe they would tell me, that's the most famous place you have to go, that's another thing that you have to go, blah blah blah. But then I would do my own research. So Google is your best friend. So things to do in Dubai, blah 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 blah, always pretty much the same. And I've started planning all these activities, and at the last minute there was skydiving there, and I was like, that's the craziest thing ever, and I left it there on my browser open. Few days after, it was still there, and I looked into it, and without thinking about it, I just booked it, and I did it this morning. I did the jump is, as I said, is unbelievable. I cannot even describe the feeling, and I'm actually doing this special episode now because I feel like that I have to let it out somehow, and I cannot even put everything that I felt into words because I think only people that they did jump, they would know what I felt. We just go through this now and then we just go back in general, like Dubai life and how things are and the costs and all that sort of stuff. So skydiving is for people that actually got the balls. So I do have the balls. No, I don't. But it's something that I wanted to do because back of my head I thought that I can do it, and it's totally safe at the end of the day because you are attached to someone else, to the instructor, which is the person that does all the work. So you get there to the station and you see the other people that are getting wrapped with all the equipment. And then for each person that does the jump, there is obviously the instructor and the videographer that would jump before you, and it would take crazy videos and pictures. They would tell you to do some poses, some faces, big smiles, chin up, and blah blah blah. To be honest, with the whole experience, the jump itself, probably it's the scariest. What scares you the most is the preparation. It's while you're there waiting for your name to be called and you already have your equipment on, and you're just looking at other people that are coming down with the parachute, and they're like one after the other, 1, 2, 3, 4, super fast. Once you're there ready, the instructor comes to you and he walks with you to the little bus. So basically you're gonna plane. There are 12 students, which that was us called students, and then 12 instructors and 12 videographer, more or less, yeah, or maybe 10, now I don't remember. So get on this plane that feels like a plane of the wartime, and it's so little with just 2 benches on both sides. Literally, it's like a plane that you would see in movies when people are going to war and they have to jump, right, to go and find the enemies everywhere. So same thing, you're there with the belt, and then the plane goes up. It always goes in turn, in circles, until it reaches the jumping height. That's where you would do the jump. So once you're at that point, the instructor is basically locking you up to his equipment. And then what he said, I was pretty scared, right? And I told him, oh, that's my first jump. And then they try to calm you down, just talking a little bit more and asking you questions and stuff like that. So I said, look, it's my first jump, and all the pizzazz and the fluffery thing. And then you have to sit on him while he sort of locks you up on his body. And then he was like, oh, you're actually not that scared. How? You're actually not that scared if I compare this to what you're telling me. And I was like, why is that? And he's like, because I can feel your breathing and it's actually normal. Your heartbeat is not super fast. It's not fast at all. So he's like, you'll be fine. I got you. You jump with me. I'll do the work. You just have to enjoy the ride. And the thing that he said to me, because I said, I'm scared of heights. And he had a really nice way of turning this around, because he said to me, just think about the high. It's just high. You are in the sky. There's nothing else. There's nothing. The only thing eventually that you have to worry about is the ground, because that's the one that hurts. But once you are up there, there's just you and the sky and whatever you have to look down. So just look down, smile, enjoy the ride. And then he's like, oh, you're number 4. And I was like, yeah, okay, number 4. I got all this time to prep. Looked outside, looked down, and I'm like, oh my God, why am I doing this? They opened the door, and then first videographer goes down, first couple, boom, and then second, boom, third. He's like, oh, that's our turn. Literally all this happened in a minute. And to be honest, I didn't even have time to think what I was doing. I actually thought about it while I was going up, but in that specific moment, I was like, holy shit, I'm actually doing this. I'm jumping. Oh my God, I don't believe it. Out of my comfort zone. And then he did the thing. I had to say hello in the camera, which the video after will come up on my socials. And then he did the sliding thing. And then boom, we jump. We did probably a minute of free fall. And that feeling, you have these butterflies and this adrenaline that comes up. And it's just like, I cannot even describe it, because you just have to do it. You just falling at maximum speed, and he's above you and he's telling you literally to smile to the other guy that is in front of you. And that was quite comforting, to be honest, because obviously you're not jumping alone, but you have a person in front of you, and sort of like breaking up all the distances, and you'd be like, oh, actually there's not just us, because you have a person above you, but having a person in front of you, it would just make it a little bit different, a bit more interactive, I'd say. But one thing that I didn't do, I didn't look down. So I just looked at the sky when we jumped, and I think that made the trick. So I was not scared. I was scared, but not as much, right? And then started to fall, and then when he opened the parachute, that was scary, because obviously there is a little bump in which you would go up and then you would just slide down very slowly. He said to me I did well, and that made me really, really proud, because it's a big thing, right? And from above, I've seen Dubai with different eyes. That's the best thing ever. That feeling that you're flying above all these high-rise buildings, and you see the palm in all its beauty, and the sand and the colors, the blue and the swimming pool, the towers. Is just the geometry behind the city, the landscape is just something that there's no such a picture that would give that back to you, right? So because I did well, the guy was like, oh, do you want to drive this, the parachute? I was like, no, please do, you just do it. He wanted to do some flips because he said, oh, you actually did well. And then he was like, oh, hold my hands, we do like Titanic. So that he was very, very nice with me, and he, to be honest, he calmed me down. I don't know if it was him or if I was actually not that scared. And then at one point we were almost down. He's like, okay, let's do one flip. Did the flip, started screaming, and then he's like, oh, it's the wind, it's a bit faster at the moment, so when we land we might just go down a little bit faster, so make sure the legs are in the correct position and blah blah blah. By the time you reach the ground, the videographer is already down and he's taking your footage on the moment that you arrive. The moment that I put my feet on the ground, I had that adrenaline, that it's called adrenaline rush, and it's something that, I don't know, I've never felt anything quite like it, and I feel like I was on hype for the 3 hours after that, right? And then they release a little interview and then take a selfie with the boys and then just go back in, say thank you, and then you can see other people, right, that they're going in and they go through the same process. It's good, like the overall experience, it's a bit pricey, but if you save up for the money, it's something that I would totally recommend. It's worth the whole stop in Dubai. And that's just to wrap up what happened in Skydive Dubai. Make sure also to check the merchandise store. Like a person like me always get some shit here and there, so did love it. Dubai, what to say in this crazy city? So it's really controversial. There are a lot of contradictions, and I don't know if it's something because it's related to the culture or it's something that it's intrinsic in the people itself. So you have this opposite side of the spectrum in which you have this luxury building and luxury malls and all these rich people and expensive cars and all of that. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have probably the real Dubai, right? All the poor people, the people that they struggle, the people that they're desperate, the people that wake up at 3 a.m. to ride a cab. And these people and this reality, it's not something that you would see across, but you would notice only if you go to the old town, which I did. That's why I'm telling you guys. So I can say Dubai is totally safe. So if there are any girls listening to me that they are planning to stop, it's something that you can do, but you have to be fully aware of the surrounding and what's happening around you, in a way that men, they wouldn't approach you in a sexual way kind of thing, but they would approach you to try to sell you stuff, because obviously you are European looking and you're a tourist. Obviously, potentially you have money, right? So on my first day, I did the first part of the day at the Burj Khalifa, which is obviously an area that has been built only for tourists, and that's the reality of things. Like, you have the rich Dubai for the tourists and the poor Dubai. I was there, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's okay, let's go to the Museum of the Future, and then let's go to the souk market, which is in the old town, because I was always intrigued about this comparison between the old and the new, because we all know the new one, but who knows the old one, right? So I went there, gone on the train station, on a train, and also the train, it's another full story here, because that's the scariest thing ever. Got in this random stop, which I've asked at the information point. They told me it was the closest to this market. And then I got out, and it felt like to be in a completely different planet. Like, you are on one planet, and then you unlock another level, and you have a completely different background, a completely different landscape, completely different people, and you sort of have to guide yourself through this and trying to understand where to get points and where to get safe points to keep going in this level. Let's call it a level. So that was level 2, right? So I didn't know where to go, but as a point I had the creek, which was the river. So I started walking, and it was really poor. Like, people were drying clothes on scooters outside. There were dirty things everywhere. Two people on a scooter. People seated outside every single shop, which they're all the same, because they're trying to sell perfumes, they're trying to sell incense, they're trying to sell dates, like all their local fruit and stuff. And then while I was there, people started to come to me and say, oh, do you want a Gucci bag? Do you want a Prada bag? Do you want sunglasses? Do you want come into my shop, and I started to get scared because obviously they would stare at you, right? Because I was alone. I suppose if I was with someone else, probably the feeling would have been a little bit different. Obviously they wouldn't approach you in that way, which was way too much for me, to be honest. But I kept going because I went down there just to see this spice market, and I was like, you're here, you did 30, do 31 as well. So kept going. I found the security guard of Museum of Dubai. It seemed safe to ask, so I did ask him, and he didn't really know where to send me. So I kind of followed people that they seemed Western looking, as Eastern looking, with backpacks, so like tourists, ended up to a Nepalese, I think, temple or something. And then I see just a little alley there on the side in which there were stuff hanging, so like stuff from like a local shop. And I started to go down that way, and somehow I ended up in the market, right? So this was very, very, very characteristic because the market was a covered one, and they had all these big bowls with all the spices, like saffron, cumin, tarragon, like I don't know any more of than this, but it was beautiful, like the best colors. And they had all these ceramic things for the house and all handmade, and it was beautiful. They had all the scarves and the bags, and it was quite authentic in a way. But on the other side of this, you could actually see the desperation in these people, because it doesn't matter if you were saying no to someone, because they were trying to take you inside their shop and trying to sell you things. The next one was already there looking at you and preparing his conversation starter with you and trying to get you in the shop. And I was walking saying no, because it gets a bit frustrating, and I actually felt not safe. I know obviously it was, but as a personal feeling, I was like, I just cannot do this anymore. I stopped in one because the guy actually didn't say anything to me, and at the end of the day I bought something because he was a nice person. He helped me out, and I bought something handmade for my bedroom, and that was good. So I made the day to him, because for him it's a lot. It was not a lot of money because we are talking like $20, but for him it was a lot, given he said it's not a busy time and all that sort of thing. Kept going, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll try some local food, but they were literally walking in my direction and tried to sell me every sort of fake bags, and that started to be a bit too much. I got lost. I didn't know where to go. I had no data in my phone, so I entered a mobile shop, and then I was like, hey mate, I need to know where the bus stop, where the train station is, and please help me out because I don't feel safe, blah blah blah. So he directed me, and I made it to the train station. The train station is the cheapest way, I think it's the cheapest way to travel in Dubai, but it's not the most time efficient. And for people like us as tourists, the most important thing that we have is time. So it's the most valuable thing. So you don't want to waste your time on public transport. I know that you're gonna save a fair bit of money, but you would lose time. So you have to sort of balance it and make a decision. Do you want to save money, or you want to have the best out of the experience? Get a cab. That's my take. 1, safer. 2, it gets you where you have to go. Number 3, easier, aircon, and that's it. So the taxi, it's a bit controversial because I've been told that they were cheap. They're not. I mean, they're cheaper if you compare the cost with Australia, but I've spent a fortune in taxi because, yeah, you have to go places, and what do? You just stay stuck where you are in your accommodation and you don't go anywhere. Like, yes, so I decided to go with cabs. I did only one day with the public transport because there were a fair bit of connection between one place and the other, but I've lost a lot of time, so I don't think it's worth it. And to be honest, and I didn't know when I did the daily pass, because they do daily pass and it's actually quite convenient. You can sign up for the gold class or for the silver, which is the regular class. The gold class, basically it's one wagon, carrozza, at the end or at the beginning of that train, in which only the people that they pay more, they go there. So, and the good thing is, like, when you go there, no one wants to pay more to get on the train, so there are just few people, tourists basically, and that's absolutely safe. First trip I took with the train, I didn't know, I just went in the normal one, and that was an experience, because I was sitting there and there was this dodgy man that started to give me that look, and then he started to come closer, right? So I didn't really want to move, because you don't know what's going to happen. I was actually scared, but there were other ladies on that train, so I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then few people left, and I sort of moved on the next seat, and then this guy started to come still closer to me, and I didn't really know what to do. So I just literally, I was getting very uncomfortable, and I moved, and I went in front of the door, and I just waited there that the door was opening, and I got out of the train, and I said, you gotta figure it out where this gold class is, because that's not possible. So, but then I figured it out after that there is also a space on the train only for women and children, which is at the same cost. So either or, if you go to Dubai and you want to catch the train, just get in the women section, if you're a girl obviously, or in the gold class. I'd suggest the gold class. Pay more, but it's just literally $10 more, but you have that peace of mind. So, and that's from the transport. I think a good thing is like they've got Uber, but Uber is very expensive, so they suggest you to book a cab with Karim, which is a similar app, but with this Karim you can pay your bills, get the food delivered, get a cab. It does literally everything, every single thing, which is quite good. And the thing is that you sign up for an account, but you don't need to pay in advance. So once you get off the car, you decide to pay with cash or with a card. That's totally up to you. And I found that quite convenient, especially in a country like that where everyone maybe try to get some more dirham, local money, out of a tourist. So that was a good thing. So, and that's, I think, everything for the transport. In terms of accommodation, obviously there are different price ranges for whatever is your budget. I took a resort at the Palm next to Atlantis, because I wanted something with a beach and with a swimming pool, obviously. There are some other hotels in the city center, but it really depends what you like. I like more of a resort type style and less as a hotel in a CBD, because the center of Dubai is a bit weird. You have the Palm, and then you end and you have Dubai Marina, which I'm gonna go tonight just to take some pictures at nighttime, because during the day, I was there today after skydiving and I was dying. There is that one, there's the financial center, and then there's Dubai Mall. So there are mainly these three areas and hotels in these three areas, but not the Palm. They're just normal building, and it's very aesthetic, because outside there, this structure, there's literally nothing. Here you're out, you can still have a walk to the beach, and pretty much the cost is the same. You can even rent apartments, I think, around the city center, which I think I've seen the option, but I've decided to go for something different. So it's really up to you, really what you want to do. But obviously, if you are two people, the cost would be obviously cut it in half, so it's more convenient, and you can get even something a little bit better. For one person, obviously there's no such, the price will be cut it in two, because it is what it is, right? Dubai Mall is actually another very interesting thing. I love shopping. Everyone that knows me well knows that I have a problem with that, and I'm mature enough to say it. Got problems probably with dresses and bags. So once you get to Dubai Mall, it's really overwhelming. I got overwhelmed because it's too much. There's a lot of things. I got lost probably 6 times, and regardless, I was walking for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I always ended up in front of the aquarium, and I got no idea how I did. So walk there, up, down, so the shops, but to be honest, everything is so expensive. If I compare the prices with Australian prices, given a brand that has product here and there, I can say that the surcharge, it's probably about 30 to 40%. I'm not saying any brand, but I'm just saying it's way too expensive. Food is crazy expensive. I got a coffee there. Okay, maybe it was a bougie coffee shop, one that I found by chance, that I've seen on one of the guides online on the website of Dubai. I paid for an almond latte. No, for a latte, not even almond, just a small one. I paid in dollars, $11 something, which is a lot, because regardless inflation that hit Australia as well, we probably pay for just a small one around $4, $3.80 to $4.20 depending. So it's still okay, but paying $11 for a coffee, that's crazy. And then if you check prices of sandwiches, cheese, pizza, pasta, or any other meat dish and stuff like that, the price is pretty much the same as Australia and a little bit higher. It obviously depends where you go. If you go in a basic restaurant, it's probably the same cost, but if you go in a more expensive one, it will be more expensive. So make sure you know where to go and what to get. Another option which I find it quite surprisingly convenient, and I didn't think about it, is actually going to the supermarket. They've got Carrefour here, and obviously if you buy, I don't know, the bread and then the cured meat and some cheese, you can make your own sandwich, and like it's actually very cheap. I bought, this sliced pizza, and to be honest, in dollars I paid $2.50, which is nothing, to be honest, because I paid $11 for a coffee. To be honest, this holiday I loved it. That was the best solo time that I've ever had. That's my second solo holiday. I went to Fiji a few years back, but I feel like in this one I've done everything that I could. I just loved every single moment. I loved the struggle of the heat, discovering the city, making mistakes, obviously, taking wrong decisions. Also because, I forgot to mention, I went to Abu Dhabi to see the mosque with one of the flight attendants that I met on the Emirates flight. So I started to talk with this girl, and she was Italian. Obviously, we exchanged contacts, and I said, I'm just gonna go to Abu Dhabi to see the mosque. If you wanna come with me, you're welcome, so we don't go alone, and we share the cost, right? So we went there with a cab and then went to the mosque. It was magical. Cannot describe it. It was out of time. It felt to be in Aladdin's house. It was so clean. It was majestic, and all these patterns, regularity, geometry, and it was just beautiful. Very hot, so everything super bright. We had to cover up, obviously. Long skirts or long pants, long sleeve for the shirts or t-shirts, and then obviously we had to wear a veil. So and then from there I wanted to go to the Louvre, to the Museum of Louvre, the modern one that they have in Abu Dhabi, which was designed by French architect Jean Nouvel, which obviously I knew because I did study that at uni, and it's actually nice when when you can go and see all these masterpieces of architecture. Also because the dome of this building, there is all a special study behind for ventilation, sun, and to keep the level of heat pretty much down. And they've got water inside and canals, and it's all geometric with these cubes emerging from the water. So I really, really wanted to go there, right? So got another cab from the mosque, get at the Louvre, took my picture at the entrance, walking down to the entrance point. There was a sign, closed on Mondays. For fuck's sake, closed on Mondays, when a museum closes a day a week. I've never seen that, but that's on me because I didn't really check the opening times, because I actually gave for granted that a museum was open on those days. Shame. I actually tried to bribe the security guard outside and say, hey, what if I'll pay you some money and you let me in just to take some pictures here and there, because come for Australia, guys, I need to see it, and he's like, no, sorry, we can't, sorry, no. End of the day, it still hurts. It still really hurts my feeling. I wanted to go, but then anyway, gave up on that operation, went back Abu Dhabi Center, got the bus and back to Dubai. So what this holiday gave to me, I feel like I'm jumping from one side to the other, but to be honest, I feel like I've covered everything, right? So I've covered accommodation, I've covered transport, I've covered visa, obviously. I've covered the importance of taking time for yourself, for myself, and having a solo trip, which is the best. And then skydive, absolutely, guys, put it on your list to do, if not here, anywhere, but still you get to do the experience. And then yeah, I think that's it. I literally just wanted to talk to you guys about this because I had it here, and I don't know if Dani and Stella would be upset at me. I actually didn't tell them that I wanted to do this, and Stella is in Italy at the moment, and she's probably flying back on Thursday to Sydney, and I've got Dani in Sydney. So this is just me and some chronicles of my travels, because I'm actually quite happy of the choices that I made and on how that experience especially would shape me in the future. And I think it's really important for any one of us that sort of facing all our fears and which could be anything. Like for me, it was skydiving or even going on holiday by myself, which if you think about it, people are scared because they'll be like, oh, I'll be judged from persons that they see that I'm alone and I don't know, it's not safe. But hey, it's all in your head, really. You just have to prep your stuff, do your study, do your research, and get out there and make it and get it done. It's literally the best feeling ever. Once you've done it, you feel accomplished, you feel like you are a better person. Not the best, because we are always evolving and always trying to be better tomorrow, but I feel like it actually gave me a lot, to be honest. After skydiving, and I felt like that for like 3-4 hours, I felt like I was a superhero. Which is stupid, right? I don't even know what's my superpower, but I felt like invincible. I felt like, oh, fuck yes, I can fucking do this. It's the scariest thing. I do crazy shit. I jump out of planes. Yes, I've fucking done it. I've done it. Yes. So anyway, besides all these words, guys, if you have any questions about Dubai or how it is the transition between Australia and Italy, because obviously I haven't been home in a year, and I felt all that I was homesick and I'm excited to go home, to see my family, to see my friends, but obviously it's different, right? Because that's not the reality where I belong, because now I belong somewhere else, and it's something that you would probably understand and feel that once you are living overseas or abroad for a specific amount of time, but very happy. So yes, again, back to what I was saying, if you have any questions about this trip, if you want to get some other stories, which there are heaps, but I've spoken for 34 minutes, and to be honest, I can even speak for more, just send an email to italiani.thepodcast@gmail.com and I'll be more than happy to answer. Back to the girls, hope they're not gonna hate me. Guys, love you, and we are gonna speak soon with more details and stuff like that, and I wish you guys all the best. Have a good night, have a good day, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Italia in Australia is not going anywhere, and we're still here with you. Bye!